Hey everybody, welcome to our Wednesday night call. I'm Emily Roberts, Diamond Ambassador. Super, super stoked to talk about momentum with the amazing Abbey. She is an Emerald Ambassador, and she's going to tell you a little bit about kind of her journey to Emerald and how she got there with momentum and excitement and that team morale that all of us want when we add someone to our team, right? You want them to get going and go right off the gate, but sometimes that rock star that you add, they go into the witness protection program and you're like, what happened? Do you hate me? And you think it's something you've done wrong, or maybe they get started and they post their first status and they get negative feedback and they just pump the brakes and they're not ready to keep going. So let's talk about how we can annihilate through this. Let's listen and take notes, and remember this call is being recorded, so if you don't want to be on YouTube later, I'm going to keep it on Abby's face, but if you start talking, you might pop up. So I hope everyone is super excited. I know I am. Abbey, I'm going to turn it over to you. Super stoked to hear from you. Take it away, my friend.
Hi, guys. I'm super pumped to be on with y'all tonight and super honored. I'm going to share with you just the super fast version of my story to Emerald, and then talk to you guys about the stuff you really want to know, like how to get the elusive momentum. I started this journey about a year and a half ago. I had actually previously tried the product 7 months before that, and the products worked for me my first month. But I was like, no, I can't afford this, not doing it, turned it off. I was actually a single mom at the time, and so I literally didn't actually have those dollars in my bank account. So I was like, yep, this is not a priority, even though it made me feel great, not doing it. And my sponsor, Jessica Heffley, was like, don't worry, you'll come back. So for 7 months, I researched the products, and I found out that gut health is for real, and that Plexus is in fact not magic, but it just works for a really good reason. So I had been praying and looking for an answer to be able to support myself and my baby girl, because I have only a high school diploma, and realized that I had to support my family. So I looked into several network marketing companies, and even though there were plenty of stuff out there that was super fun and great stuff, that Plexus stood apart from all the rest. It had products that weren't luxury products. It was something that was actually a necessity for people's quality of life, and the comp plan was unmatched. So I jumped all in March of 2015 and tried to find my way around in the dark a little bit. I didn't have a lot of instruction or coaching, but I did have resources. So those are the ones I latched onto, including your own amazing leader, Emily. I've watched lots of her videos, love them. You guys are in a good place with the best teacher. And so it took around 6 months where I was like, okay, you know what? Some days I'm rocking and rolling. I'm crunching out my IPA. I'm checking in with my people. And then a couple days, like, I just deserve a break. Like, you shouldn't have to work this, like, all the time. Wrong. If you want to get somewhere, you got to do it right. So I messed around, and kind of felt around until October of 2015. When I did my first 30-day business challenge that my sponsor did for a big group of people that wanted to get to Kona the next year. And that was where I was like, oh, this is what it means to do it every single day. This is like a real job, like a business. So that was the major light bulb moment for me. I learned a lot in that challenge, and I decided, okay, I'm going to be serious. So November 2015, did all the things, checked off my checklist every day, but there was something in me that was holding back. I had something in me that says, if this doesn't work, then I'm gonna jump ship. And because I was dedicated and because I actually knew what to do and was doing the things, I was like, man, this is kind of cramping my style, like taking up some time. I need to know this is gonna be worth it. So that's when I had my heart to heart with Jesus, and I had a serious time of prayer and said, listen, I just need you to bless this business. I just need you to bless it, and I need you to make it great, because I need to know this is what you have for me. And guys, I felt super, super convicted that I was praying and asking the Lord to bless something that actually I was not holding up on my end. Because I was doing the things and I was checking off my checklist every day, but I wasn't really all in. Like, no turning back, all guns blazing, like, this is what I'm doing. I didn't have that level of commitment. I hadn't drawn my line in the sand, as a bunch of people say. So that changed for me at the end of November. And guys, in December, I bugged the heck out of my upline. Every single day, I did everything double time. And then I was like, okay, what next? Now what do I do? How do I go above and beyond? How do I overachieve this thing? Until she was like, there's nothing left for you to do. You do all the things. So I did that, and I worked really hard and promoted to Ruby on New Year's Eve. And that, you guys, was my first taste of momentum. After I experienced momentum, there is no turning back, and it will be the same for all of you. If you're on this call and you've experienced momentum, nothing else will satisfy you ever again. This is when you become the crazy Plexus person, because you're like, guys, you have to see it. You have to know what this is. That's where that comes from. Those are people who have experienced momentum, and they understand what happens when everybody on your team is working together towards a common goal. So I kept up at that intensity and that effort all the way through, and actually promoted several months ahead of my projection in April of this year to Emerald. My team worked really hard. We were all unified and doing it together, and it was amazing. So I am going to jump in and tell you guys some of the practical things that we did during that time that was different than what I was doing before. So before, like, I was doing it. I was doing my IPA. I was cold messaging every day. I was following up every day, checking on my people, doing the things. I really was checking off the check marks. But when you want momentum, let's define momentum real quick. Momentum, this is the way I break it down for my team, is the constant and continual daily activity which creates a speed that will end in you either meeting or surpassing your goals. So it creates this forward movement, and you guys are all, you can't just be you. You can't be the only one like rocking your momentum fire, because you alone, you'll get stuff done. Like, you can be a powerhouse by yourself, but you won't get where you want to go. So how do you create the unity team-wide to get everyone on your team? Absolutely, what everybody says about locking arms with your leaders, that's a real thing. So you need to have heart-to-hearts with your level ones, not just as a group, so not just in an IPA thread or in your leader thread, but also one-on-one, going to those leaders and saying, what do you want to get out of this month? These are the dreams and the goals that you've told me about. What does your timeline look like? How soon do you want those things? That will give you the license to hold them accountable. So definitely get in deep with your people. The second thing, though, is that you can't just stop with your level ones. At least I couldn't. I realized that I needed to go above and beyond, because my level ones only made up a certain percentage of my team. And to get to Emerald, I needed everybody to be working. So I started going deep. I actually went down 4 levels deep. I would send, and you're not going to spend the same amount of time, so don't think like you're going to lose your mind. You spend the most time with your level ones, but I started sending voice messages and encouragements and shout outs to my levels 2, 3, and 4, and people respond. They will rise up when you're speaking common truths into all of your people at once. They will start to perform and all go after that common goal. So don't just do the bare minimum. Don't stop with your level ones. Actually go deeper. And honestly, don't worry about stepping on toes, because if your leaders know what's up, they're going to say, thank you so much for lighting a fire under my people. They should be loving the heck out of you, because you're actually helping them. Like, don't worry about your level ones. Look, when my sponsor tells me she's going to voice message someone on my team, I'm like, please do. And here's 5 more. Like, that would be awesome. Any reinforcement is always a good thing. We're all in this together. We're all on the same team. So don't ever, like, if there's any competitive spirits or weirdness with your downline, snuff that out. Like, that's craziness. We're all here and we're all helping each other. So don't be afraid to go deeper in your levels. Practically, some of the things that I did in that season were, with my leaders, I did decide to outwork them. So I had an IPA thread with my leaders that we posted in every day, and I made sure to outmatch them. which that at that point in my business, I was still new to this. And so I needed to show my team that I was leading them by example. And they needed to see me cold messaging people every single day. They needed to see me adding people to the team page. That will absolutely carry so much weight and build validity with your people if they know you aren't just shouting orders, but you're actually doing the things that you're asking them to do. Another thing was, just like I said, that IPA thread. Once we started doing that, not just with each other, but in individual, like my downline broke it into their own teams too, that was powerful. That is a great way to keep accountability high. And that was something that was new. Now it's like everybody knows about it. Everybody does IPA chat threads. But that was new when I was going after Emerald. So that was definitely a huge part of that. The last thing is find out what your people want. Give them some ideas, give them a list of incentives and say, guys, I want to know what gets you going. Like, what actually motivates you? Don't do the same incentives or the same prizes or the same contests all the time. Find out what actually gets your people excited, because it's going to be really different. I am half red, half yellow, for those of you who know about the color personalities. But I was giving away in my contests very red things. I didn't find out till later I was doing the wrong things sometimes. So I learned to find out who my people are and what they need and what inspires them and what drives them. A lot of times it's very, very different from you. So ask your people. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable with them. And then last but not least, don't be afraid to be the leader. So much of the time, we can be afraid of being the crazy Plexus person, of being too intense or too over the top, and our people not hearing us, or not being really afraid that if we step up and step out, that they're not going to follow. But the truth is that you've worked really, really hard to get here, and that you're in the position you're in for a reason. And that's not a pride thing or an ego thing. That's the fact that these people who are on your team have trusted you. So it's your honor and it's your privilege to lead them. So don't be afraid of your strengths. Guys, pray for wisdom. I pray for wisdom every single day with my team. I wake up in the morning and say, Lord, what do my leaders need today? Because there's freaking 30 of them, and I'm not a psychic. I don't know what they're struggling with today. I need to know what they need to hear, and that's what goes in my thread. So absolutely present your business before the Lord, ask for wisdom, and he will give it to you. Yes. Elaborate on IPA threads. Okay, so the way IPA threads work, at least on my team, is we will personally invite people to join them. So like I will personally message 10 people and say, hey, you've been personally selected to be added to this group. This is a group of people just like you. We're all going after this business for our families. We're working hard, and this is a way to keep each other accountable and stay the course, and also build each other up and encourage each other so you don't feel like you're working this business alone. We do have criteria for staying in the group. So we have like a minimum of cold messages and follow-ups that have to happen every day. And we don't do negativity. We don't do complaining. We don't do, oh my word, this person commented on my post and it's so rude. We don't do any of that. It's all just for reporting in what you've gotten done that day, or cheering each other on and saying, you guys are awesome. You're rocking it. Keep going. And if you miss posting, oh, sorry, what is it?
And these are your levels 1 through 4?
We've done it different ways. Sometimes it's all my level 1s. We've done a group where it's all my leaders, so that would be levels 1 through 4. Sometimes, and now we've kind of split off. So now my leaders are raising up enough after several months to where now they just do it with their leaders. So now I just have a private thread of my own level 1s. So, and that thread, even with my level 1s, is not as much for IPA as much as coaching and instructing, because we all know we're doing our IPA. We're in it for serious.
Awesome. I love that. Is this based off of like Diamond Melissa Eichenhorst IPA threads?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. I love it. Now, you said something about in New Year's Eve, so December, you were Ruby, and by April, you were Emerald. So can you kind of elaborate a little bit? So besides your IPA threads, you obviously created amazing momentum through that and building belief in your leaders. what are some things that you personally did from December to April? Like, can you give me like a guesstimate on how many people you personally sponsored, or kind of like an average of what your team was doing in that time?
I have gone silver every month. Sometimes more, sometimes just silver. It all averages out, but I have gone silver every month. But during that time, I was messaging at least 10 people a day, cold messaging. Some days it was 20 or 30 a day.
That's amazing.
Because I did set that bar to outwork my team, and I had a girl on my team who was a crazy cold messenger, and she cold messaged so many people. So sometimes I was up till midnight trying to beat her number. But I think that had a lot to do with it. That was high activity. And then also, again, going deeper into my levels, I really was talking to levels 1 through 4 every single day. So that was really time consuming, but it absolutely paid off.
Can you give an example, just like off the top of your head, if you have one, of a cold message that you send to people? Or is it all different?
It's all different. I will give you a strategy that I use for them. In the beginning of my business, I created some like criteria cold messaging. So I have a basic one that I will send to pregnant or new moms. I have one that I send to fitness junkies. I have one that I send to teachers. And then I will just take that. So I have like a score of like 7, 8 cold messages in my notes in my phone. So I'll just grab one of those, whichever best fits my person that I'm messaging, and then personalize it. But I have the basic main body done and geared toward them and what they do.
And are these things that you made up on your own, or did you find them from other network marketing professionals?
I made them up.
Awesome. I love it. Cool. And you said you were messaging like 20 to 30 people a day?
Anywhere from 10 to 20 or 30.
Oh, 10 to 20.
On the day.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's awesome. I love that you hold yourself accountable and you try to outdo your leaders just to show them that you're in it just like they are. That is so awesome. And I love leading by example. And then recognition. I think that's a huge part of momentum. I'm glad you brought that up. I think that it's important, no matter if you have one customer or one ambassador on your team. I think recognition is super special. People need a cheerleader. I've shared this with my team that sometimes people have not heard the words, "I believe in you," since kindergarten. So what if you were the first person in their adult life to say, "I believe in you, don't give up," or "You can do this, you can be consistent with your products, I believe in you, like we need to do this together." So totally firm believer in recognition. I love that. Abbey, you are freaking adorable. You're like a little spitfire. I just love it. Jessica told me all about you, and I'm so glad that you got to share with my team. Do you have like 5-10 more minutes if I open it up for questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Does anybody on here have questions? I see lots of you taking notes. I have a lot of people, a lot of new ambassadors that are trying to fast track on this call. And then we have new ambassadors pushing for silver and gold. So if you have a question,
crazy exciting.
Oh yeah, we have like momentum everywhere, and they're all spread out. Like these are people from Canada, Japan, and then all over the US. So super cool. Cindy Thompson, I know you're on this call. So do you have any questions? I'm gonna unmute you.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. I was just gonna ask about the cold calling or the cold messaging. Where do you message the people? Do you just add them randomly on Facebook, or are you join groups on Facebook? How do you go about that?
Yes, it was 100% Facebook. And I was adding new friends every day. So I quickly added like my mom's friends, people of influence that I wished would do Plexus but refused and said no to me. I just went and friended all their people, and then I messaged those people because I knew they were people of influence. Anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's so true. So fun fact, team, that is something that I did. I've had people tell me no over and over and over. And when they keep telling me no, and I know they'd be amazing, I go after their friends list too. And it might sound a little stalkerish, but everyone needs Plexus. Right, Abbey? Everyone needs Plexus. And I'm not going to let them slow me down. So I think that's a huge part. Like half the people that I met on my team, we've never met in person. Mm-hmm. They trusted me because of my influence and my consistency. And we had that one mutual friend, third-party validation. And I think that's so true. So I love that you honestly just said that, because That's so true. My husband's like, how do we know this person? I'm like, a mom's group, I think.
We don't know them.
Never mind. I don't know them, but they said yes, so let's help them. So I love that. I love that. So true. Amber, Savannah, anybody have a question? I see you guys. Don't be shy. I'm going to unmute you, Amber. Okay. Do you have a question?
More about cold messaging.
Okay.
How do we go after the fitness junkies? Because I have lots of those on my Facebook.
Yes, you do.
Nice. Perfect.
Well, how can she like confidently message someone? Because I think sometimes we set ourselves up for no. So like, what is an idea that you would say to, oh my gosh, sorry. What is an idea that you would say to a fitness person? Like you said, you had your little strategies. How would you go about that?
Fitness people are critical, but they are also all about their own image. So leading with compliments and talking to them about what an inspiration they are to everyone else and encouraging them to keep going and that you're watching them and how amazing they are, that's always a great start.
Yeah, they already have.
Yes. So that's always a great start. And then just build common ground. Be like, I know that there are 100 things that get thrown in you guys in the industry all the time, and most of it is filled with stuff that only halfway helps you because the rest of the ingredients are total junk. I have something that will actually work, help you meet your goals, and make you feel good at the same time. Would you be even remotely interested in trying it if I sent you a free sample?
Right.
I like that. Do you mention Plexus at all, or do you vaguely approach them?
Depends on the person. Also depends on my level of relationship with them. If they're a perfect stranger and I literally don't even know how I friended them or where I came from, I don't like to mention Plexus always because I don't know that person's connotation for Plexus. Yeah. I don't know if they've just heard of it in one freak scenario. I don't know if they have seen one post about it. I don't know what they think about it. So I may delay that a little bit.
Okay. I'm gonna bother two more people. Amy Silvis, you are a freaking rock star. Do you have any questions on this? Because I know she's like speaking right to you.
I guess mine, other than the fitness ones, mine always, it's like the cold messaging, how to word it properly where you don't scare them off. I think I always give too much information in the beginning and it just chases them away. So how to make it short and sweet to the point.
That is a lesson I learned the hard way for sure. I still guys, I go back and look at my old messages and I'm like, Lord Jesus, how did any of these people get on my team? Like, how did that even happen? We all learn as we go. Now my messages are way, way shorter. And I see if people, a lot of times I just say, are you even interested in hearing more about this? Do you have any desire to work from home? Do you struggle with any health issues? And then I jump into more of like how it can help them and why. If they're not even going to give me the time of day, then they're going to be twice as turned off and they're going to give me a hard no. If they're just probably not, but a little curious, that at least gives me some wiggle room and I can ask them more questions.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Abby, I'm going to bother one more person. She's a senior Ruby.
Congrats!
She lost some momentum from team members. Where'd she go? Hold on, I got to find her. There she, oh, she sees me coming for her. She's like nervous, I can tell. She lost some momentum. Her team is full of amazing rock stars, and they're really young, just like you. They're in the 18 to 24 category. So what would be your best advice to someone that's building momentum? She's listened to all your advice tonight, I'm sure. But to maintain that with such a young crowd. Brianna, you know I'm coming for you.
Yes. Yeah, attrition has definitely been like a really, really difficult point right now, and getting our momentum back on track has been unbelievably difficult. But what is, like, I want to know what your competitions are with your team. Like, what kind of challenges do you do for them?
Well, first off, I want to tell you, great job for having so many young rock stars. That's a really rare thing. It's really hard to get people in my age group on board that even have a value for health and finances that young. So it sounds like you are really good at what you do to instill belief and value in that many people in that age group. So you're actually doing way better than you think. Nice job. And as far as incentives go, if you haven't already done like the color personality test and the love language test, I would absolutely do that with your team, because everybody is motivated by such different things. Some people just want time with you, like one-on-one coaching with you, and that is just what sets them on fire. Some people literally just want a freaking prize. They don't care what it is. Like I have one girl, just one on my team, who like, if there's a prize, she's there. She's there every day for that. It's awesome. I love it. And then everybody's so different. Some people are super yellow, and so every single thing they do in their business has to be for someone else. They can't feel any personal gain. So that is going to be really, really big for you in knowing and giving them things that will drive them. Also, one of the things, sorry guys, I can't remember which Jewel panel this was on. I think it was actually a convention at that Jewel panel that did, was they taught us to incentivize activity and not always results. So one of the tips they gave us was, hey, do prizes for small activity, not just for people added, but for things that will lead to that. Do prizes for overcoming fears or reaching out or any of those small victories. Start rewarding people for that and see what happens.
I like that. Since you mentioned like having a younger crowd, what does your downline look like as far as having older, more experienced people on your team? And how did you get those people or connect with those people?
I am a mom, so that's one thing. So my team is a lot of moms that are all 10 years older than me, but they're moms, so we have common ground. And then also I have done a lot of traveling in my short lifespan. So I worked as a nanny on the road for a while. I did missions trips. And so a lot of my team is from all across the nation. Hardly anyone is from my hometown.
And I think she mentioned she went through her mom's friends list and added her mom's friends. I know
did.
Another ambassador, I don't know if she's on the call. It's one of my best friends, Celise. She went through and added all of her mom. Her mom's huge in Mary Kay. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
And she went through and added all of her moms, because you can look pretty on the outside and the inside. So why not go and add all of them? So I think that's a great tool, is if your mom has best friends that are really into Facebook and social media, why not? It's free game. It's free game. Yeah. So I love that. Abby, thank you. Brianna, did you have any other questions for her? Did she answer all your questions?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You have been so amazing and so helpful. Thank you so much for jumping on with us tonight. Everybody that's on, if you could just say thank you by waving to her so she can see you real quick. Yes,
you guys are super sweet. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you.